would like to invite our patron, His Excellency Kandeepan Balasubramaniam, to address the gathering.
Good evening. President Mr. Demuthu, office bearers, Mr. Heshan Akurupu, President of the Chartered Accountants of Sri Lanka, Mr. Sabah Mubarak Al-Jalawi, Chairman of the Kuwait Accountants and Auditors Association, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm deeply honored and privileged to be here once again as your patron on this special day. If my memory serves well, this is my fourth occasion I stand in the dais as your patron during these AGM sessions. This august body was stemmed in 2014 and have endured a journey of a good 9 years. 9 years of professional journey is quite a task. In upskilling yourselves, projecting yourself in this competitive business world, and contesting and competing among many others. I have also seen during this period of 9 years how you have strived as professionals to upskill yourself and shine in this part of the world as Sri Lankan professionals. Your dedication and commitment to keep pace with the rapidly changing business environment has been very visible over the years. Such efforts has again given the due recognition to all of you in Kuwait. At a time where the artificial intelligence and robotics has taken control of the modern businesses, it is essential that you also keep pace with the advancement of technologies and the skills that are required. That is the very reason I'm sure you've been engaged in a regular upskilling, reskilling tasks every year. And it's been an immense pleasure as a patron to be part of your efforts all the time. It is also an additional pleasure as a representative of this country, as ambassador, that we have been striving for a long time to diversify the deployment of Sri Lankan migrant workers to this part of the world, which you know has always been a traditional domestic sector for a long time. The embassy has taken, with many other stakeholders, strenuous efforts to have our piece of the pie in these professional, skilled and semi-skilled segments of employment for a long time. I think our visionary strategy has come to fruition now when I see such a large number of accountants employed in Kuwait. I think in 2014 it was about, if my memory serves well, it was about 40 in numbers, and today it has increased to something closer to 100, which is an indication of not only the efforts of the government, but also the recognition you as professionals has gained in Kuwait. Eventually, this would also serve as image building of Sri Lanka, staging Sri Lanka in this part of the world, which was not so good at some point in time. That's the reason, dear friends, I often call you, every one of you is ambassadors of Sri Lanka at large. You carry the fame, you keep the flag high in this moderate society, and we value as Embassy of Sri Lanka your contributions. Today's highlight, I understand, is also launching of the magazine The Hub. I think it's a value addition to your presence as a professional body. I am sure such business magazine serves as the conduit for useful information that would invite and trigger certainly dialogues between business houses, among business houses, which would eventually lead to promotion of the multifaceted interest that the state of Kuwait and Sri Lanka shares. All kudos to the editorial team that has contributed to the magazine and made the initiative a reality. As I often say, the chartered accountants in Kuwait is a special segment of Sri Lankan community in Kuwait. They have taken upon to themselves the responsibility toward community, both in Kuwait and in Sri Lanka in the past. I have seen their tangible contribution in fulfilling many community projects, the social gatherings, and the emergency assistance in Sri Lanka. We recognize their good work, and we hope and pray that such a good work will continue in the future as well. And back home, of course, you know the situation is getting better, and professionals like you who is away from home has always been watching our motherland very closely and strive all the time to contribute towards the well-being of the country. Compared to 2022, as you all know, where we were in a bad shape, we are getting better. The inflation levels, the stability of the currency, the foreign remittances, everything were at some point, I think in September 22, were at the very low ebb. And today, thanks to the vision of the government, and in particular the current President, His Excellency Ranil Wickremesinghe, the country's situation has improved tremendously. The debt structuring program that we embarked on has been successfully carried forward thanks to the contribution to India, who stepped in immediately when the other assistance were not forthcoming. After a period of 18 months, ladies and gentlemen, you won't believe the benchmarks we have achieved. It quite inconceivable. The inflation levels that were at 70% in 2022 has dropped to just 5.7% today. The currency has stabilized. In fact, appreciated against the dollar by over 15%. The tourism arrival has been phenomenal for the past 3 years, with some 106% tourist arrivals. Foreign remittance has been 3 times high over the past 3 years. And the story of usable forex has been remarkable. If I recall, in September 2022, we had just about 20 million US dollars as usable forex, but today we have about 4.5 billion dollars of usable forex, thanks to the vision of the government and all the financial institutions of both corporate sector as well as the state sector that has performed exceedingly well. And today we are relatively in a better position compared to the struggle we underwent. I'm not saying we are out of the woods, but if we continue, if you pursue such a prudent reforms to the next forthcoming 2-3 years, I'm sure we are not too far from touching the true potential of Sri Lanka. In order to achieve such a noble goal, ladies and gentlemen, your contribution as professionals is of keynote importance, and I urge you as your patron and head of mission to continue your contributions to the mother nations, to our motherland, and in particular, I know you all are enjoying a vantage positions in the very prominent business entities that offer you an opportunity to interact with the professionals, investors, and entrepreneurs. Please engage them and explain them where we are today, and encourage them to look at the prospective investment potential that the Board of Investment has offered. In fact, they had a plan to have a list of structured investment opportunities for Middle East. Get hold of them, talk to them, and see what you could do to contribute to our motherland. And in particular, the employment opportunities. We've been striving to get rid of this domestic sector and move more into a skilled, semi-skilled, and professional categories in this part of the world. You have that power, you have that connection, you have that networking. Please tap them and make use of them to do whatever positive to our country. At Sri Lanka Embassy, we stand ready, and it has been an immense pleasure to work with you very closely all the time. We are at your disposal, and our doors are open 24/7 for any discussions on this, in the spirit of what I would like to call a shared responsibility. With those brief remarks, I conclude my speech. I thank you for inviting me, and I wish also to excuse myself because being a Ramadan season, I have a couple of Divaniyas organized by prominent ministers which I had to drop by. So I will be leaving. Wish you a wonderful evening. Congratulations, Mr. President and the office bearers, for the successful convening of another AGM. May your active role here inspire our community in Sri Lanka and beyond. Thank you.